Good morning. We want to welcome you to this Drainage District Board of Directors meeting posted for today, July the 17th, 2018. Present are Commissioner Fuentes, Precinct 1, Commissioner Cantu, Precinct 2, Commissioner Palacios, Precinct 4, and myself. We have a quorum. Please join us in prayer.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners. Jaime Salazar with the Drainage District. Dear Lord, we thank you for your promises of love and protection. Grant us hope, health, healing to families and individuals who are facing struggles today. Thank you for blessing us with another day with our families and with our work. Give us each the guidance, knowledge, and discipline and determination to effectively fulfill our duties of making the best decision for Hidalgo County. May we each recognize every opportunity to pass your blessings on to others every day. In your name, amen. Amen.
Under open forum, did anyone sign up?
Yes, sir. We do have two participants. I will remind the audience to please respect the speaker's time at the podium. There is a 3-minute time limit. I will advise when there is 1 minute. Under Drainage District, our first presenter is Judy Cadena? Oh, my apologies. I couldn't make up the first name.
Yes, good morning. I'm Judy Cadena. I'm from Westlaco. It's down South Milano Street. We just want our drainage to be changed, pipes to be changed. This is the second time we get flooded. Back in 2015, they said they were going to do something about it, never did. Now it happened again. We just need that to be changed. We want you guys to help us get that drainage changed. We don't want to wait till we get flooded again. Basically, that's what we want. We want whatever the funds we had or so to be used in the correct way. And in this case, to help us not to get flooded again, make sure that Hidalgo drains again. And that's all.
Could you make sure to give your address to Mr. Salazar, please?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Our second presenter under drainage is Ms. Farn McClarty.
The pictures I'm handing out, I know that we're not able to show to the public, so hopefully you will look at these. These were sent to me with a note, and it says this is so much that needs to be done with, and our leaders are acting like we're okay. We are not. This is an 89-year-old living in these conditions. Her daughter is outside living in the tent. Look at that tent. It has an electric cord going to it. This is one of many examples of citizens that live in Hidalgo County that have been forgotten by current leaders. There is $26 million available for a rainy day. Where are those millions? And then I understand that they sent a letter to Precinct 1. As a citizen who lives in the forgotten part of Hidalgo County, I have seen firsthand how unprepared the county was to deal with this event. I want to urge you to do the right by the people who need you the most. I have 2 questions. 1, what plan, if any, have been formulated to utilize the Hidalgo County Rainy Fund? 2, there are $27 million just sitting there, and that should be not spent, but helping those in need right now. Please provide the people that you represent with specific details and timeline on how you plan to make us drain again. Do this before you ask for more money. Sincerely, I won't give the lady's name, but if you look at the pictures, there's the lady sitting on the step, and the house is flooded. You've got all of her stuff that's up off the floor on tables and couches and stuff. The one picture has mold on the wall and on the floor and everything. When y'all go back to y'all's nice homes, these people are not. Like I said, there's the tent with the electric cord going to it and their belongings. And the little lady, like I said, breaks your heart. And they tend to think that you don't give a tinker's damn. And I would like for my commissioners and different ones, you may not be able to do anything, but you can listen. And I understand you haven't listened in a couple of places. So these are the people that voted and put you in the position you're in. Please reach out. These are the poor people. The ones when you go home to your nice, warm home, air-conditioned and clean, these people are not. They're in dire need. So please do what you can, what we can do. Our churches need to do something. Whatever it takes, Hidalgo County needs to stand up for the poor and the needy that we have in Hidalgo County. Because what are you going to do September if we get a tropical storm or a hurricane? These people are not even in their homes yet, and they'll be even worse. So think about it. Thank you.
Thank you. The last presenter is Amber Arriaga Salinas.
Good morning. I am Amber Arriaga Salinas. I'm here on behalf of Proyecto Azteca and the residents and leaders of Indian Hills, Lucero del Norte, and Las Brisas and other areas like that. I actually am here to thank Chief Saldana, Emergency Management, Commissioner Fuentes, his staff, Mr. Cabeza de Vaca, Commissioner Palacios and his staff, Mr. Caso. Thank you so much for your help during this weather event. We all know that it happened so quickly. Commissioner Fuentes, thank you for your leadership. You all acted incredibly fast under the circumstances. And with our leaders, Chief Saldana was in constant communication with us, with our leaders. So although there was flooding in that area, people knew what was going on, and they knew if evacuation vehicles were coming, they knew if food was coming, they knew if they were going to get water. We would like to continue to work with the court and be proactive to help in events like this. We need to educate our residents about illegal dumping because we know that that's an issue. And we just really feel that the best way to move forward is to work together as a community. And once again, thank you very much for your help.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Under our consent agenda, any concerns?
No concerns, Judge.
Move for approval. Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Item 5, requesting authority to advertise and approval of request for qualifications packet as attached here to for Hidalgo County Drainage District Number 1 expansion of professional engineering services pool, RFQ number HCDD1 1804300808 for selection of firms per project on an as-needed basis through grading, scoring, ranking, negotiation protocol as established by the Hidalgo County Drainage District Number 1 Board of Directors.
Move for approval. Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Item 6, requesting approval to accept bids and approval to execute requirement agreement with the vendor submitting the lowest and best bid, meeting all specified requirements for RFB number ACDD1 18-026A-07-12, sand and bedding material subject to legal review and compliance with HB 1295.
So move. Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
7A, request exemption from competitive bidding requirements under Texas Local Government Code 262.024A4 for professional engineering services.
Move for approval. Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Presentation of scoring grid for the purpose of ranking by ACDD1 Board of Directors of the firms graded and evaluated through the district's approved pool of engineering firms for the provision of professional engineering services for flood evaluation for Precinct 4 June 2018 rain event. Scoring is LNG Engineering at 95, Cruz Hogan at 92, and Strada Group at 90. The board wishes to rank them as is.
So moved. Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
C, pursuant to the board's approval, requested authority for Hidalgo County Drainage District Number 1 to negotiate professional engineering services agreement with the number 1 ranked firm of LNG Engineering for the provisions of professional engineering services for flood evaluation for Precinct 4 June 2018 rain event.
So move. Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item 8, approval to issue payment on the following items: proceeding review and compliance of contract terms and conditions. CP 130, Budget 005, New Administration Building A. Application for payment number 2 in the amount of $57,533 from Bullard Construction, Inc., pertaining to the construction contract ACDD 1-18-002-0522, project engineer Half and Associates, PO number 634554.
So moved.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
That's all I have for today. No closed session, no, sir.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Motion carries. Thank you, sir. This time, we're going to convene a regular meeting of the Hidalgo County Commissioners Court, posted for today, July 17, 2018. The entire court being present, we have a quorum. Please join us in our Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good morning. Almighty God, we come together today for the good of the citizens of Hidalgo County. Give us your wisdom as we make decisions that will affect them today and in the years to come. And help us to work well together, recognizing that each of us are here because we want what's best for Hidalgo County. We ask for your blessing and your guidance. Amen.
Amen.
Any concerns with the consent agenda?
Judge, if please the court, if we could take consent agenda item out of order 3E, 5C, 11B, 4D, and 10B and C.
That was 3B.
No, 3E, 5C, 11B, 4D, and 10B and C.
Sir, motion for everything.
Yes, sir.
Move to approve the remaining. Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
And so, for the record, I'd like to take no action on consent agenda item 3E. I'm going to ask Jaime to address 4D.
Yes, sir, Judge, Commissioners. I'd like to pull for no action item 4D, approval of the 2018 interdepartmental transfer. No action for today, please.
Consent agenda item 5C will be contingent upon the permit fee for the application on a pipeline utility permit. So if we could have action on that.
So moved. Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
11B, will be also contingent on council's review and approval of the documentation for the credit application. So,
If I could just clarify something.
okay.
On that item, last night I did send a response. Legal counsel has reviewed it. They recommended changes. In my response to the letter of observation, I have informed the auditor's office that the DA civil section did review it. Those recommendations have been sent to the vendor. The vendor is now, I'm waiting for them to return it, and it will not be executed unless it is finally reviewed by legal counsel, which is stated on the agenda.
Okay, so it'll be subject all to legal review.
Yes, but I do recommend approval.
All right.
So moved. Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
And the last item under consent agenda, for the record, Commissioner Fuentes will abstain from any action and or discussion for item 10B and C.
So moved. Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you.
Our district courts, item 5A.
Judge, Commissioners, with your permission, I'd like to address item 5A. This is for the 93rd District Court. It's discussion, consideration, approval to appoint Jose Jaime Garcia, Cumberland School of Law student, as a volunteer clerk intern for the period of July 24th, 2018 through August 20th, 2018. And all the documentation with respect to the internship agreement and waiver of liability has been processed.
So moved.
Second. Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Good
Item
morning.
6, our District Attorney's Office.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners. On behalf of the DA's office, Julia Benita Sullivan, Public Affairs Office, I'd like to go ahead and ask Rosie Martinez and our distinguished District Attorney, Ricardo Rodriguez Jr., and the others that are here for this proclamation, which is declaring July 30th, 2018 as World Day Against Trafficking in Persons in Hidalgo County. And with your permission, I'll go ahead and read the proclamation. Whereas World Day Against Trafficking in Persons provides an opportunity for Hidalgo County to renew its commitment in combating human trafficking in all of its forms. And whereas human trafficking tears at our social fabric, fuels violence and organized crime, and debases our common humanity. And whereas human trafficking is a global tragedy, combating it requires international, national, state, and local action. There are an estimated 40.3 million victims of human trafficking worldwide. And whereas in Hidalgo County, Criminal District Attorney's Office is working with national, state, regional, and local stakeholders to fight against human trafficking and to provide assistance for the victims. And whereas we must join together as a community to provide a safe haven by protecting victims and prosecuting traffickers. With improved victim identification, medical and social services, training for first responders, and increased public awareness, the men, women, and children who have suffered this scourge can overcome the bonds of modern slavery, receive protection and justice, and successfully reclaim their rightful independence. And whereas the Rio Grande Valley Anti-Human Trafficking Task Force calls on every single person in our community to report human trafficking and to join their prevention efforts, now therefore be it resolved that the Hidalgo County Commissioners Court hereby proclaims Monday, July 30th as World Day Against Trafficking in Persons in Hidalgo County. Presented this 17th day
Second.
of July. Approved.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Approved the 17th day of July, 2018. And I'd like to introduce Rosie Martinez, the Crime Victim Unit Director, to say a few words and provide more details. Thank you, Rosie.
Good morning,
Good morning.
Judge, Commissioners. First of all, we're here to thank Commissioners and our Judge for the continued support that we have with the prevention efforts that we're trying to launch in the county in an effort to provide community education against human trafficking. In April of this year, under the administration of Mr. Ricardo Rodriguez, our district attorney, we created the Rio Grande Valley Anti-Human Trafficking Task Force, and that task force is comprised of federal, state, local, regional law enforcement agencies, victim service providers that are working directly with human trafficking victims, and prosecutors. And today here present with us, we have Chief Salazar from the U.S. Border Patrol. We have Chief Briones from Alton PD. We have Chief Deputy Mario Lopez from the Hidalgo County Sheriff's Office, Commander Cifuentes from HIDA, Chief Hope Palacios of our Special Crimes Division. We have Chief Esquivel of our Felony Division, Chief Longoria with the Civil Juvenile Division, and Chief Eric Schreiber with our Check Fraud Division. Yes. And we also have Constable from Precinct 3, FAR Police Department, Fuerza del Valle, and all our Assistant District Attorneys and Crime Victim Advocates present today. And we're very excited about this new initiative. This is in partnership with the Office of the Governor Child Sex Trafficking Team and Homeland Security Investigations. And we're here today because we are launching a prevention event on July 26th at the FAR Event Center that is going to be free and open to the public, and it's to provide prevention education. We're going to announce the initiatives that we have for this upcoming year of new programs that are going to serve trafficking victims, specifically minor child sex trafficking victims that we're working in conjunction with the Office of the Governor. And just a little bit on the agencies that are part of the task force already. We have the Hidalgo County District Attorney's Office, the Office of the Governor of Texas Child Sex Trafficking Team, the Office of the Attorney General of Texas, their Transnational Organized Crime Section, Federal Bureau of Investigations, Homeland Security Investigations, the Joint Task Force, West-South Texas Corridor of the U.S. Border Patrol, the Texas Alcoholic Beverage Commission, Texas Department of Public Safety, HIDA, Hidalgo County Sheriff's Office, Mission Police Department, McAllen Police Department, San Juan Police Department, FAR Police Department, Weslaco Police Department, Sullivan City Police Department, Hidalgo Police Department, Hidalgo County Constable Precinct 3, Alton Police Department, and then from the national sector, we have the Buffett McCain Initiative to Combat Modern-Day Slavery, the Coalition to Combat Human Trafficking in Texas, Refugee Services of Texas, Fuerza del Valle Worker Center, Tamar's Tapestry, Hidalgo County Juvenile Probation Department, Cameron County Juvenile Probation Department, the 229 Judicial District Attorney's Office, the Lower Rio Grande Development Council Crime Victim Liaisons Program, BCFS Health and Human Services, Safe Haven Forensic Exam Unit, Texas Rio Grande Legal Aid, South Texas Civil Rights Project, the Humanitarian Respite Center, the Hidalgo County Crime Victim Liaisons Unit, and the PATH Prevention Awareness Team of Hidalgo County. All those agencies have been involved in the creation of this task force, and our main goal is to rescue trafficking victims, to make sure that they're safe and protected, and that the community is aware of how to report that crime. So thank you so much for your time.
Commissioners, Judge, good morning. Again, I'd just like to take the time to thank you for your participation and always helping us and sending the message out of what we're trying to do on the different times that we've been here before you. And today, we're here to talk about human trafficking. Also, Judge Maxine Longoria is also here with us, the Chief Prosecutor, who oversees not only the Juvenile Division, but also Protective Orders and also Child Welfare Division. And I mention that because, in our office, we're cognizant of for example, human smuggling and trafficking, and we're always, looking for those instances that maybe were not picked up, at the time that there was an arrest. But, our office is always engaged in trying to see and look for the signs of possible human trafficking and smuggling as well. But with that said, I also like to thank our law enforcement partners. They're in the front line. They're doing everything that they can every day, to be able to protect our communities, our families, our schools, and Hidalgo County and the state of Texas, and also, our nation. But they are on the front line, and we appreciate all their participation and all their endeavors, especially, when we're talking about human trafficking. I'd like to thank my office, for everything that they do. Our prosecutors, our chief prosecutors, our admins, for everything that they do in reference to, human trafficking and human smuggling. So, again, we want to thank you for always taking the time and allowing us to come here and letting not only what's out there when we talk about prevention and education, but also letting the public know and making that awareness, as much as possible, because it does matter. Obviously, you've heard, in the last few months, where there's been a lot of stash houses, with individuals, many individuals that are packed into a home, a trailer home, or some area where it starts off as human smuggling, but I would venture to say somehow, some way, it's going to end up as human trafficking. So the work that these law enforcement officers and agencies do has a great impact not only in our county but throughout the whole nation, because they're actually stopping something from happening much worse to these individuals who are humans and for whatever reason they're here. They do save a whole lot of lives. So again, thank you to all the partners that are here in the federal, state, county, and the municipal level. And once again, thank you very much for having us here today. God bless you. Thank you. Thank you.
Don't be shy. You won't be in the photo back there. We're going to go on yeah.
Judge. Submission. It's back.
Yes, sir. You can stand in front of the podium.
We're good. You're fine.
Can you see everybody? That's fine. Thank you. All right. Everybody, please look ahead and smile. Please. Count of three. 1, 2, 3. One more. And let me just do one more. Everybody, keep your eyes open and smile, please. Thank you.
Thanks for being here.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Judge, how are you? Sir, how are you? Good, sir. Thanks for being here.
All right, under 6B, our DA's office.
Morning, Commissioners. Judge Rosalinda Cantu presenting for the District Attorney's Office. Item 6B, Hidalgo County DA's Office Victim Assistance Program, Grant Fund 1281. Approval to submit a VAP grant number 2924302 budget adjustment to the Office of the Governor.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
6C, Hidalgo County Domestic Violence Specialty Prosecutor Grant Fund 1281. Approval to submit the DVSP grant number 2931303 budget adjustment to the Office of the Governor.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
6D is the Hidalgo County DA's Office, Region 3 Border Prosecution Unit Grant Fund 1281. Approval to submit a BPU grant number 2537807 budget adjustment to the Office of the Governor.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Item 7, our County Clerk's Office.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners. Annette Muñiz, Chief Deputy for Arturo Guajardo Jr., our County Clerk. We're here to present the bond for Ms. Yvonne Ramon, the Elections Administrator. We need approval.
Move for approval. Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Item 8, our Sheriff's Office.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners. Captain Herrera with the Sheriff's Office, Hidalgo County. Item 8A, authorization and approval to purchase through the State of Texas surplus property programs under Chapter 2175.001 of the Texas Local Government Code and Section 262.0249C, 2 cargo trucks, LMTVs, for a total of $12,000 through requisition number 375565.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
2, authorization for purchasing department to issue a purchase order and county treasurers to issue a check made payable to the Texas Facilities Commission after county auditor's review.
Move approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
8B, approval and authorization for Hidalgo County Sheriff's Office to continue participation in the Texas 1033 surplus property program.
So move.
Second. Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
2, authorization for the county judge as authorized official to sign the required documents.
So move. Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you, Judge Commissioner. That's all I have.
Thank you, sir. Item 9, our constable, precinct 1.
Morning, Commissioners, Judge Sergeant J.P. Salceda. 9A, 1, authorization to accept the approval notice in reference to Operation Stone Garden FY 2017 for the amount of $30,000.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
2, authorization and approval for county judge as authorized official to electronically accept grant award from form and related documents.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
3, authorization to pay overtime reimbursable under the grant terms and conditions.
So move. Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
4, approval of certification and revenues as certified by the county auditor for FY 2017 Operation Stone Garden grant in the amount of $30,000.
So move. Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
5, approval to appropriate the budget for Constable Precinct 1 portion of the FY 2017 Operation Stone Garden grant in the amount of $30,000.
So move. Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
9B, discussion, consideration, and approval for Hidalgo County Constable Precinct 1 continued participation in Texas 1033 surplus property program.
So move. Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Item 10, precinct 3. Constable.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioner. Dan Bowles on behalf of Constable Gallardo. Item 10A. Number 1 is authorization to accept the statement of grant award in reference to local border security program fiscal year 19 in the amount of $95,000.
So move. Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Number 2, authorization and approval for county judge as authorized official to electronically accept grant award form and related documents.
So move. Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Number 3, authorization to pay overtime reimbursable under the grant terms and conditions.
So move. Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Number 4, approval of certification of revenues as certified by the county auditor for fiscal year 19 local border security program grant.
So move. Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Number 5, approval to appropriate budget for Hidalgo County Constable Precinct 3 office portion of the fiscal year 19 local border security program in the amount of $95,000.
So move. Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
10B, authorization to accept the net approval notice in reference to Operation Stone Garden fiscal year 2017 for the amount of $60,000.
So move. Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Number 2, authorization and approval for the county judge as authorized official to electronically accept grant award form and related documents.
So move. Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Number 3, authorization to pay overtime reimbursable under the grant terms and conditions.
So move. Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Number 4, approval of certification of revenues as certified by the county auditor for the fiscal year 2017 Operation Stone Garden grant.
So move. Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye. Motion carried.
Number 5, approval to appropriate the budget for Constable Precinct 3's office for the portion of fiscal year 2017 Operation Stone Garden Grant in the amount of $60,000.
So move. Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried.
That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Item 11, our tax office.
Morning, Judge, Commissioner, Santos Castilleja, Motor Vehicle Manager. Item 11A, requesting approval of a dealer deputy agreement between Hidalgo County and San Juan Motors Limited Liability Company doing business as North Park Lexus, Rio Grande Valley, P 149103, subject to the dealership providing a bond in the amount of $100,000 and final legal review.
So move. Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried.
Thank you.
Item 12, Mr. Guerra.
Thank you, Judge, Commissioners. Item 12A, 1 and 2. There's no action under item 12A1, which is the update on ongoing county-owned building construction, relocation, and/or renovation repair projects. Item 2, emergency situations occurring since last agenda meeting. Judge, Commissioners, as you're well aware, and the general public should be aware, as it's been reported in the media, we did have an issue after the rain event at the courthouse with respect to water intrusion, causing some areas of high humidity within the third floor, as well as the fact that we're using a portable chiller to compensate for the chiller that has been down that was ordered. As an update, over the weekend there was an environmental cleaning of the third floor, County Court of Law 1, 2, 4, and Probate Court. The humidity levels on the third floor are all within range now. There was a micro scrubbing done of the area. There were air handlers. There were HEPA filter scrubbers. We had the dehumidifiers. The air handlers and the returns were all cleaned. Facilities management in their due diligence also went and inspected every air handler and the coils, and they did find that there was one coil that addresses the third floor that had a restriction. They found the part yesterday. It was installed early this morning. It's a bypass valve, and so the coil is now getting the chilled water that it needs to get, so that it helps with cooling off the third floor. That was all done this morning. I have been in constant communication with facilities management over the last week and a half, over the weekend, yesterday and this morning, and again this morning's levels for humidity were well within the range that they need to be at. We'll continue to monitor the situation, but as of right now, everything appears to be back as good as it can be right now. While we address the roof, facilities management has already been in communication with a authorized third-party vendor that can do business with the county on the roof, and we will be getting finalized quotes to address the area of water intrusion at the courthouse. Item B, Judge Commissioners, I'm going to ask, Oscar, there you are. I'm sorry, Brian, I didn't see you all. I'm going to ask Oscar and Brian to please come to the podium. It is presentation of the monthly report by Program Manager Jacobs, Inc. of the construction of the new Hidalgo County Courthouse.
Thank you. Good morning. Brian McIntyre with Jacobs.
Good morning.
Oscar Garcia. All right. So we'll be brief today. We've had a lot going on. Let's see if we can get through here. So we are near the completion of design development. So what that means is, in terms of the project and design, we got about 550 to 600 pages of drawings to tell us how to build the building, and about 3,000 pages of specifications to that front. So if you're measuring by the pound, we've got a lot done. We received the contractor's estimate, and we're working our way through that now to make sure that we've got a project that stays within the confines of the program budget. Okay, we feel confident that we've got that, by the way. Okay. let's see here. What else we need to talk about for DD? Because that's really about it. We're to the point now where we're ready to issue notice to proceed to HDR to get into CDs. The 50% CDs is when we'll establish a GMP for the total project. And in that, we'll, part of that, most of the building we'll still have some refinement to do, but the structure will be complete and permittable. Okay. We continue to have steering committee meetings that talk about the overall look of the building on the inside and the outside, what are the materials that are being used, and that sort of thing. Those are monthly meetings, and we'll continue to have those for several months yet. Okay. Project schedule, design review, and permitting. So we have met with the folks of the City of Edinburgh to talk with them about the permitting process, fees, and all of that sort of thing. We had a good meeting with them. Was it last week that we met with them? Good meeting with them last week, and we've got a good plan. We talk about the Klausner, the eventual closing of Klausner, what needs to happen in the way of getting the word out to the community, how that's going to affect traffic in and around the area. We talked about the traffic signals, signage, and all of that sort of thing. Talked about on-site utilities as well as site logistics plan and parking. Okay. On Friday the 13th, HDR submitted to us an early package. The early package is actually for an early GMP. That GMP is for basically everything that happens below the surface of the dirt. So that's your site utilities, your piers, pier caps, a certain amount of dirt work, some demolition, fencing around the area, that sort of thing. And so in about a month's time, we will get a cost. And this will not be an estimate. This will actually be a GMP for that piece of work. In order for us to recommend proceeding, we have to have really good, strong feeling that our estimate is exactly where it needs to be. Okay. Oh, did I skip a page on this, Oscar? Okay. Oh, I was looking ahead already. Sorry, gentlemen. Fumbling around with my papers here. So as I said, we'll continue on with our steering committee meetings. They're good, productive meetings where we're making the best decisions that we can in terms of value and finishes and things like that. We'll have a revised courtroom mock-up after we had the judges come in and visit and take a look and make comments. We're going to make the revisions that we felt like were going to yield the best courtroom for you. We think that that's going to be ready for the judges to review in the end of the last week of July. The current date is August the 2nd, but I think that we're going to be able to better that.
We had the Board of Judges meeting approved. We had the Board of Judges meeting where they actually approved unanimously the design of the courtroom layout. So what you're going to see in this mock-up is that modified from the first round of the mock-up, the approved design, and now the result of that in early August.
Yeah, it's an important distinction. Thank you. Okay, so we talked about the early site package. We'll submit the plans for the early package to the City of Edinburgh for their review. We've got a Meet the Prime event that's scheduled for is it tomorrow?
Yeah.
For tomorrow, and the intent there is to open up discussion with the local contracting community. We'd like to get as many of those folks to come in and talk with us as possible. So let them know about the project, what the requirements of being involved in the project are. And so that's the intent. It's a good measure to let people know what's going on let the contracting community know what it is that we're building and how they can participate. We'd like to have as much local participation as we can possibly muster. Okay. Let's see here. Parking plan presentation distribution. So I think that we've been working our way through the parking issues with folks here at the county, and I think that they've got a good plan, and I think that they've got a good mechanism for getting that out well beyond the time that people will need it, so that people will know when we do actually close down Klausner and start to do construction work where they need to park and how they need to go about the business of getting back to the courthouse. And right now, the plan for mobilization for the general contract, actually the CM at risk contractor, is still September the 4th, unless something changes drastically between now and that date. Anything that we can answer for you all regarding the project?
The big one, parking. I see on your time schedule that by the end of the month, but
We need to start filtering that out as much as possible. Even if it's not concrete, we need to start kind of putting it out there and working our way towards what it's going to look like at the end. But that's a question that comes up every day.
Yes, sir. The parking study that came back basically told us some things that we already knew, how much parking we require. And then we went through the process of narrowing down how are we going to address that parking? Where are the places? If we're going to take X number of parking spaces, which is around 450, where are we going to find 450? So the parking study did that, and it talked about the mechanism by which people get back and forth. That's still, I think that it's in the final stages of being ready to present to the public. And we all agreed that probably by the end of the month and beginning of August at the very latest, that needs to be out there. So there's a good month of time for that message to get out to people where they're supposed to go when they've got court business to take care of. Anything else? Okay. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Item C, yes.
Item C, I'm going to ask Mr. Michael Leo, podium. Item C is discussion, consideration, approval of the creation of the Hidalgo County Arts Program as authorized under Section 381.004B7 of the Texas Local Government Code.
Good morning, Judge.
Just a brief background on the creation.
Yeah, actually, we're going to defer to Mando, Precinct 2, to give a little backup on the project because they're leading it.
All right. There is a question by Ms. Fern Clarity. Hopefully the presentation will answer those questions.
I don't have a presentation, but I can answer any questions that may have.
From what I understand, I don't know if you guys remember, we did a project where we created a literacy project called the ACE Initiative, and then we contracted with VIDA at that time. This is somewhat similar. From what I understand, it's a project to do with the arts programs, the arts projects, which does qualify under Chapter 381 of the Local Government Code. There's been some communications with the Boys and Girls Club regarding that project. They're looking to possibly initiate this, or administer, I should say, this initiative for us. So what this is just the first part of the process. This is just the creating the program. At a later time, what we're going to have to do is come back, if the court desires to do so, to actually enter into some sort of agreement with that entity to administer that program for us. But this kind of lays the groundwork. This is the first parts of it. It has to do with the arts. It's called the Hidalgo County Arts Program, really. It's still a county initiative and it's still a county program at this time until we enter into an agreement with somebody else to administer that program for us. I think it's been vetted by legal as well.
So 381.004B7, these funds are very restricted funds, and as an example, it can be used for literacy, it can be used for like CASA, for and I forget what it reads, but for like CASA type services, and it can be used for the arts, but it's very restricted. It has to meet one of the elements in the statute, and so this is an arts program that falls under the statute. Like I said, these funds are restricted. They come from the comptroller. Correct me if I'm wrong, Michael. And so they can only be used for certain purposes. They can't be used for county or for anything else, just for specific purposes. And so this arts program is one of the uses that's allowed by the statute.
Right, and thank you, Commissioner, and that's correct. These are the funds that we receive from the comptroller's office. They are restricted, and they can only be used under the statute. And so in answer to the question that was posed earlier with respect to what's the county's portion or what is this going to cost the county, these are not general fund monies. These are monies that are earmarked for specific type of programs. This is one of those that
one other program that we've done is the small grants for businesses.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very restricted, and we've had a lot of money just sitting there, and so we've tried to be creative in how we can expend it and be smart with how we expend it, and so we've tried different things, and this is one of the things that qualifies.
Okay.
So with that said, I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Item D, Judge, Commissioners, for disclosure.
How much money is going to be used for this, Commission?
At this point, this is just to approve the program, and I believe that on the next agenda item, there's going to be a submittal
as to how much money, Judge. We could get you that ahead of time for your office.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Judge. Item D is for disclosure purposes. It is disclosure of firm name change from the law office of Preston Hendrickson PC to Hendrickson Law PLLC in connection with letters of engagement, billing for legal representation on litigation cases. Mr. Hendrickson has had a name change, and for the record, we want to. I'd like for the court to take action, so we can also document all the engagement letters we have with Preston Hendrickson for the name change.
So moved. Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Item E, Judge Commissioners, approval to accept settlement check from Auto Club County Mutual Insurance Company in the amount of $10,061.59. This will settle an auto accident claim with one of our county vehicles.
Approved.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. Item 13 are human resources.
Morning, Judge, Commissioners. Raul Seguero representing the Department of Human Resources. Item 13A, Judge, we're requesting a waiver of the budget amendment policy for personnel-related amendments for the personnel items that I will be presenting. This, as a reminder, this waiver is simply to give the court the authority to take action on personnel items outside of the budget process that come up from day to day.
So moved.
Second. Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Item B, related to the classification and compensation plan. This is approval of the classified positions list changes effective next full pay period. This is simply changes to the our classified positions list, and there's several. One, title change from senior fraud investigator. These are only titles. From senior fraud investigator grade 14 to senior auto theft fraud investigator, same grade. Data center project manager grade 10 to data center project manager 1, grade 10. And to include in the list 3 other positions, data center manager 2, 3, level 12 and 14, and a community outreach program specialist at a grade 6.
So moved.
Second. Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried.
And item 2 would be approval of the job descriptions, and 3, approval to revise the list.
So moved.
2 and 3.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Item C for the WIC department, the Lactation Support Center. This is not a general fund position. They're asking approval to create a position, a grant position, slot number 002, registered nurse 3. It's a grade 15, and the step 1 salary is $57,850.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried.
For the Department of Texas AgriLife Extension Services, they're asking approval of the following personnel actions effective next full pay period. And this is a title change only. Slot number 0014, currently title is Outreach Specialist 2, and it's a grade 6, step 1, at a salary of 28, and they simply want title change to Community Outreach Program Specialist, same grade and step, same salary.
So moved.
Approval. Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried.
Item E is for the Office of the District Attorney. There's 2, they're asking to create 4 positions. 2 are general fund, and 2 are funded by the Civil Forfeiture Funds, House Bill 65. The action reads approval of the following personnel actions effective upon Commissioner's Court approval. They're asking to create slot 0148, Assistant District Attorney 2, grade 15, step 2, at the listed salary, 59. They're all the same, 59,875 with 900 auto allowance. Slot 0149, slot 0185, slot 0186, and that is the starting salary for the entry-level Assistant District Attorneys.
Move for approval.
Judge, Commissioners, my apologies. As part of the approval, this is obviously subject to the right expenditure accounts for funding.
Subject to funding.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried.
Item F is for the tax office. Approval of the following personnel action effective next full pay period, 7/23. They're asking, it's a title change, slot grade 7, step 1, salary, same salary, 31,255.
And the title change is from bookkeeper 2 to deputy clerk 2. No change in salary, just a title.
Move for approval. Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item G for the 430th District Court, Judge Israel Ramon is asking approval to add interpreter pay, interpreter allowance to slot 003, who is the assistant court coordinator, in the amount of $2,000.
Move for approval.
Second. Judge, Commissioners, again, my apologies. Again, this is also subject to the right expenditure funding account identified.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item H for the Information Technology Department, approval of the following personnel action effective next full pay period, 7/23. We're asking to create slot 0045, Data Center Project Manager 3, at a salary of $53,565. This is a grade 14 position.
Mr. Silguero, again, this would also apply to the right expenditure funding account identified.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Mr. Silguero, I got an email about where we're going to do some kind of reclassification. Is that in the next item, or?
Yes, sir. The reclassification is the one that follows.
Go for it.
This one, then the item 2 on this item is approval to transfer employee number 122475 to slot 0045, which was created above, effective today, 7/23/2018. I'm sorry, next full pay period, 7/23/2018.
So move.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item I is for the County Records Management Department. This is not a general fund, but the county clerk is asking approval of the following personnel action effective 8/6/2018, which is the pay period after next. They're asking to reclassify slot number 001, which is a grade 13, step 1, 49,597. They want to reclassify it down to a deputy clerk 3, grade 9, step 3, at 39,052.
That's an open position?
Yeah, is that a vacancy?
No, it's a filled position. They're asking, it's a reclassification. We reclassify filled positions. They, isn't it, this year? This had to do with the reorganization of a division or a section within the county management department that Mr. Guajardo presented to the court some time ago about changing how the records management were being transferred over to the...
How do we do that, being a filled position?
The reclassification applies to filled positions, Commissioner, and we reclassify employees when their duties have changed up or down because of legitimate work-related business. And we have a process for that under the civil service procedures. It is presented to a committee. We have a committee which is comprised of the treasurer, the county treasurer, the budget officer, and the human resources director. And we have followed the process, and it's simply to address a change in duties and to an employee.
It's because I hadn't seen anything like this in the binder that we looked at. Did we have some of those positions reclassified? Did we discuss reclassifications like that in filled positions?
It's been a policy for a long time. I mean, it's been in the civil service handbook for many years.
I recall asking if there was
normally
going to be an effect.
we normally classify positions up, but it goes either way. It goes both ways.
I just never.
I'm sorry, Commissioner.
Because we made the comment, I guess, to everybody that there was nobody going to get a reduction in pay.
This is a personnel action unto itself, unrelated to any general.
To the step and grade.
Yes, unrelated to the step and grade. This is simply a personnel action that the county clerk is asking as a result of his business operations.
It's a reorganization. We reorganized our office because of the construction of the new courthouse. As we mentioned, we are moving 2 departments to what was known as our records facility management. We're no longer going to have that department because we're moving 2 of our vital departments over there that are extremely busy. So we had to reassign individuals, and then we also had the manager's position that we had to reclassify. So
it's because I've talked to you about reorganizing my office, and it doesn't seem like we were able to do stuff like this. Did I misunderstand?
What kind of impact?
We can help you.
Come by my office.
Probably so. The any department can reorganize their operations, and then, I'm sorry, go ahead.
You're correct, Commissioner. This is not a reorganization as contemplated under the Civil Service Commission rules. This is purely a reclassification based on reassignments and restructuring of the Records Management Department by the County Clerk's Office. Subsequent to reassigning and restructuring the County Records Department at the County Clerk's Office, they found it necessary to deal with this particular supervisor position. He had nobody else to supervise. Therefore, they felt it was in the best interest of the department to reclassify this position. And again, generally we've seen reclassifications going up. This is one that's going to go down because of the nature of him now not supervising individuals. And that's all it is. It's not, and I don't mean to correct our HR director, but this is not a reorganization. This is simply a reclassification as permitted by the Civil Service Commission rules.
Well,
Go ahead.
you've looked at it all, so this won't affect us legally or anything from...
No, sir.
I mean, I've never been a part of one where, well, I don't know if I have or recall where we've adjusted someone's salary just by mere reclassification.
The reclassification provisions of the rules contemplate change in operations and duties of the particular individual employee and permit that process. It's because of the ongoing changes at the county clerk and having to address some of the issues related to the courthouse construction and how they're going to operate record management and allow greater access for their constituents to get records and such.
Hey, Victor, instead of educating us here, do you mind if we push this off until next meeting so you can explain? I would like to see it, how it works just with my staff as an example. Not that I'm going to do it at my staff level, but I want to understand the process. I didn't know something like this could happen.
That's not my decision to make, Commissioner. That's y'all's decision.
No, I understand. I'm not asking you for permission to table.
Yeah.
I'm asking you to come present to me on how this is being considered.
I'll be more than happy
to table until next week. I'd like to, or no action, and I'd like to look at it too. I just think there needs to be some disclosure to the employee.
And the employee has been made aware of the reassignments and the subsequent situation related to those reassignments and the lesser role he's being asked to consider.
I'd like to meet with you two.
Did we offer them some position that would be equal to their pay? I mean, it's not fair to really say, hey, you're about to get a $10,000 reduction.
It's one of the things that we did discuss with we've been working on this for months. This is not just something that because it's very, very difficult decision to make. It's difficult to justify leaving a person making an amount that they're making when they don't have the same jobs and responsibilities. And all of this is, it's a result of the construction of a new courthouse and our responsibility to the constituents. We had to make, these departments accessible. Instead of asking the court, for a new location, we're using our own location, trying to keep the cost down. But that meant reassigning departments to the employees to other areas. But that left that one position that we don't know where to place. So aside from just, dissolving the position, this is the answer that we could come up with.
And as to your question, Commissioner Fuentes, with regards to other available positions, this position is funded through the records management account, so it has a very narrow type of duties that individual would be able to undertake. So is there others in the department or county? Not necessarily as it relates to the funding source for this particular position. And of course, I'd be more than happy to meet with commissioners. I don't know that our meeting necessarily would affect any decision made here today.
I just like to know a little bit more about it because of some of the comments that I've made to my staff.
And I misspoke when I said reorganization. It was a reassignment of duties and staff. Commissioner, we do have, like I indicated, we have reclassification. The reason for the policy is that it happens in occasions where an employee is given additional duties and responsibilities beyond their level because of new laws, new procedures, something that comes up, a federal requirement, a new regulation. An accountant may be required to do some new reports that are beyond their pay grade.
And that's what happened here?
And that's a reclassification. When duties change for legitimate business reasons, when duties change, normally duties change up. A person is given, rather than creating additional staff, an existing employee is given those new duties.
Let me stop you.
Okay.
Was this employee given additional duties
No.
at some point, and now they're
Yes.
being?
Well, when we created the position, again, as it was mentioned, this is a special account, belongs to the county clerk's office, and it has to do with records management. When it was created solely for records management to supervise that position or that department that does not exist anymore because of the moves that we're having to make. So,
This is just a reverse of what I was explaining, Commissioner, when people are given
But
additional
it'd be better
duties.
to delete the position and then advertise for a new position on this.
I'm sorry.
To delete it and then make a day and then open
Well,
up.
they consider deleting the position and then just terminating the employee.
Yeah, but then hire him back, yeah.
Well, they would have to hire him back as a deputy clerk 3, which is what they would have created. So, in this
When
case,
he applied first time, what did he apply as? How much salary? 39,000?
Well, when he's been with us he started as a temporary employee, moved up to a part-time employee, then moved up to a permanent employee. So, I mean, he's moved up the ladder, but, at this point, it's just, again, because we're restricted on those funds, unless we create a position out of the general fund where we can place him somewhere else for that amount.
I just like one more meeting. We can take no action.
I'll second that.
Do you need a vote on that, or is this
No,
no action?
no action.
okay, we'll
Thank
take no
you.
action and we'll follow any direction on placement for a future meeting. That's all I had. Thank you.
All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Item 14, Urban County.
Delete the position. Right?
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners. P.R. Avila with the Hidalgo County Program. For item 14A, is requesting approval to rescind action taken on Commissioners Court on July 3rd, 2018, authorizing the Urban County Program to advertise for construction and related activities for all projects identified in the 2017-2018 one-year action plan, subsequent amendments, and Colonia-funded activities, Texas General Land Office, Texas Department of Agriculture, and Texas Department of Housing and Community Affairs, etc.
So move.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
14A2, the Urban County Program requests authorization to advertise for construction and related activities for all projects identified in the 2018-2019 one-year action plan, subsequent amendments, and Colonia-funded activities, Texas General Land Office, Texas Department of Agriculture, and Texas Department of Housing and Community Affairs, etc.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item 14B, request authorization for Hidalgo County Precinct 4 to use Hidalgo County Precinct 4 professional services, the on-call contract with Professional Appraisal Services, Inc., contract number C18-144-05-08 for the purpose of appraisal review services, appraised properties located within Hidalgo County Precinct 4, subject to compliance with House Bill 1295 and when if applicable.
So move.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item B2, approval of work authorization number 1 for Professional Appraisal Services, Inc., contract number C18-144-05-08 in the amount of $18,900.
Move approved.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
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 Aye, motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Item 15, our Health Department.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners. Eddie Olivares, Director of Hidalgo County Health and Human Services. First item, 15A, is presentation of Walk Across Texas Challenge number 15 winner. I'd like to call Mr. Rick Salinas to come forward and give the presentation. He's the one that coordinated all the efforts here today. Mr. Salinas?
Good morning, County Judge, Commissioners. Rick Salinas, Hidalgo County Health. I just wanted to congratulate the Drainage District, which is called the Walkaholics, for winning the Walk Across Texas Spring Challenge. As a team, they tallied 4,560 miles of physical activity. As a county, Hidalgo County came in 16th place as we tallied 29,663 miles of physical activity with 160 participants. Once again, the whole Hidalgo County and Hidalgo Fit Wellness Program, we want to improve the quality of life for all the residents of Hidalgo County. Thank you.
I just want to thank Mr. Olivares and his staff for putting this program together. Texas A&M AgriLife Extension, our staff, they do a great job. They get really motivated for this event. I think half of them walked over here today. So we're ready to start up the next one. It's a great program, and thank you all for your support.
Judge, Commissioners, a bit of trivia, historical trivia. This Hidalgo Fit program was originally a concept started by Ms. Brenda Salazar, Jay's wife, who's now part of the staff at the UT Medical School, and that was about 7 years ago or so. So look where we've come a long way. So can we get, after action, can we take a photo, sir, after your action is taken? Sure. Is there action required?
There's no action.
There's no action required? Okay, okay, photo.
Congratulations. Congrats. Hey, it doesn't count on the tractor, bro.
With your permission, sir, I'd like to move on to item 15B, requesting approval to submit request to amend the Zika Healthcare Services Program number HHS 00005960001. The purpose is to request a change in staffing levels.
Move approval. Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Item C is requesting approval to accept the Public Health Zika Response Contract Amendment 537-18-0355-00001, Amendment number 1.
So move.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Next item, sir, is requesting approval by the county judge to e-sign the Public Health Zika Response Contract Amendment.
So move.
Second. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Next item is requesting approval of the certification of revenue in the amount of $538,483 in ELC funds and $145,000 in ZPR funds.
Move approval. Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Requesting approval of the ELC budget appropriations in the amount of $538,483 and the ZPR budget in the amount of $145,000.
So move.
Second. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Next one is discussion, consideration, and approval of the following personnel actions: the creation of slot 340069 Zika coordinator at a salary of $42,521. Creation of slot 340069-003 Zika research analysts $39,371. Creation of slot number 340069-004 through 006 Zika public health specialists at a salary of $36,455. And then the creation of slot 007 Zika clerk in the amount of $27,470. And then the deletion of slot number 001 Zika public health technician at the salary of $31,255. All these are funded by the grant that has been passed for up above.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
That was an additional $600,000 we brought in this year, sir. That was beyond what we've done. This worked out real well for us this year. Item D is requesting approval of the memorandum of understanding between South Texas College and the County of Hidalgo by and through Hidalgo County Health and Human Services Department. The purpose of the agreement is to have South Texas College provide training on House Bill 300 and HIPAA rules on a quarterly basis for new employees that will work with personal health information.
Second. Those in favor, say aye. 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 Motion carries.
This is a fantastic training, sir, for pennies on the dollar we're getting from the STC on this. Did the motion pass? Yeah. Okay. Item E. Pardon me?
We just moved.
Yeah, no, I thought we did.
Okay, I'm just asking. Sorry.
Well, not that. If there's a question about it, let's redo it so we don't have to get back from where you had.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Thank you. Item E, Healthcare Funding District, there is no questions there. There is no items there. Do you have any questions? And the same thing with item F, Indigent Healthcare Program. There isn't any items there unless there's some questions. We're bringing some things next week, but this week next meeting, but this meeting there isn't.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Item 16, Facilities Management.
No action on that item.
All right. No action will be needed. Item 17, our Community Service Agency.
Good morning, Judge Commissioners. Item 17A, it's a discussion, consideration, and action to approve the cost allocation plan that details methods and procedures Hidalgo County Community Service Agency will use to allocate costs to various programs, grants, contracts, and agreements.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
17B is discussion, consideration, and action to accept the Senior Companion Program Grant Contract Number 18, SC 206866 in the amount of $427,428, and the Foster Grandparent Program Grant Contract Number 18, SF 203603 in the amount of $242,447 from the Corporation for National and Community Service, with authorization for Jaime Longoria to sign any and all pertinent documents.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Item 17C is discussion, consideration, and possible action for the approval for the following personnel actions for the two new grants awarded to the Community Service Agency for the Corporation for National and Community Service for Senior Companion Program and the Foster Grandparent Program effective upon Commissioner's Court approval. The action is to create a Foster Grandparent Senior Companion Payroll Specialist at $28,000, create the Foster Grandparent Program Supervisor position at $34,000 annually, and to create a Senior Companion Program Supervisor position budget salary of $36,000. These are all paid for under the grant and will not affect the general fund.
Move for approval. Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Item 17D, discussion, consideration, and action to accept the Texas Veterans Commission General Assistance Grant in the amount of $300,000 with authorization for County Judge Ramon Garcia and Jaime Longoria to sign any and all pertinent documents.
Move for approval. Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Judge, Commissioner, just a brief update on our efforts. I know that during the drainage portion of the meeting there was some comments made about families, low-income families, an elderly family. I will say that the Community Service Agency has been working across the county. We've been in Mercedes in Precinct 1. We spent a week in San Juan in the Precinct 2 workshop over on South Veterans. We spent a week out there, and we're currently in Precinct 3 working out of the Precinct 3 conference room. We've served over 600 families, 600 indigent families in those three sites. We will continue to provide services to the indigent population. We'll be continue to work with our precinct offices to identify those families that are in need of flood relief and either direct them to the appropriate authorities or provide services where we can within our means and our agency. So I will emphasize we have been out and we continue to work with families in Hidalgo County. Thank you all so much.
Thank you. Item 18, our auditor.
Thank you. This is a request to approve to release the county's audited comprehensive annual financial report, single audit and management letter for the year ended December 31st, 2017, prior to acceptance of the Commissioner's Court. The audit is currently it hasn't been finalized. It's being reviewed by our outside auditors. But once it's completed, we have to submit it to the Federal Audit Clearinghouse, and we have to submit it to our grantors. And it needs to be submitted prior to when our outside auditors come and present to court and you all accept it. But we're required to release it, so we're requesting approval now to release it once it's completed.
Move approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Can you share that with us?
I'm sorry?
That draft, or you've got a report that you've already...
Yes, the draft has been submitted to our independent auditors, and you would like a copy of it?
Yes,
Sure.
Thank you.
Item 19, our planning.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners. Jorge Garcia with Planning Department. Item 19A, we're requesting approval to reimburse Daniel Sanchez, Planning Inspector, in the amount of $55 for a fuel purchase. Daniel Sanchez paid from his personal cash money due to the Hidalgo County fuel card not working. This card has now been replaced.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you.
Item 20, Precinct 1.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners. Requesting approval of interlocal cooperation agreement between the South Texas Independent School District and the County of Hidalgo for student transportation staging area for the 2018-2019 school year. Agreement expired on August 31, 2019.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you.
Item 21, Precinct 2.
Morning, Judge Commissioners. Item 21A, requesting authorization and approval to enter into a standard service agreement with Military Highway Water Supply Corporation for a 2-inch water meter for the new countywide mechanic shop facility.
So
Move
moved.
for approval.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item 21B1, in reference to our Precinct 2 Dicker Road project, approval of the advanced funding agreement between Hidalgo County and the Texas Department of Transportation for Hidalgo County Dicker Road project from SP 115, which is 23rd Street, to FM 2061, which is Jackson Road, and that's CSJ 0921-02-312, with authority for the county judge to sign the required documentation.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item B2, approval to issue a check payable to the Texas Department of Transportation Trust Fund in the amount of $169,218 for the county's estimated share of the direct state cost for preliminary engineering of the right-of-way acquisition for the Hidalgo County Precinct 2 Dicker Road project, with authority for the county treasurer to issue check after review, audit, and processing procedures are completed by the county auditor.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you.
Item 22, Precinct 3.
Good morning. Requesting authorization for title report appraisal, serving meets and bounds, title policy, and acquisition of right-of-way for Harvest Time and Track 40 Los Ejidos grant.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Item 23, our Budget Office.
Morning, Judge, Commissioner. Sergio Cruz, Department of Budget Management. Item 23A is status update on the 2019 budget process. We've closed the database for entry into the budget process program. We had roughly about 17 departments that did not submit a budget. We do have a recommended budget for those departments. We will submit those to them for their review. We did have roughly about $12 million requested in excess of the 2018 adopted budget. So we do have some trimming to do. We will be working with the departments. We're going to submit to them our recommended budget and then set up meetings with them over the next 2-3 weeks to go over that. Again, roughly, of that $12 million, roughly
$9 million was just within 3 departments, which are the jail, the sheriff, which are our biggest departments, and then we also had some IT equipment that was requested, which we're going to look at that, and we'll probably recommend to the court some type of financing or leasing of that equipment instead of a outright purchase, and having that affect all in one budget cycle. But we will bring back to the court our recommendations, and then we should be posting everything online under the 2019 budget process under the county website. There's a link on the bottom of the website for all that information. And then we'll begin the budget workshops at the end of this month. On the 31st, we'll have our budget workshop number 1, and I'll submit all the information to the court the Friday prior to that workshop so that y'all can review it and already be familiar with some of those items. Does the court have any questions on? No action is required on that item. It's just a simple status update. Item 23B1, A and B, is approval of certification of revenues as certified by the county auditor and appropriation of those funds in the amount of $159,203. And this is for the countywide mechanic shop. Requesting approval.
So moved.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Item 23B2, A and B, approval of certification of revenues as certified by the county auditor and appropriation of those funds in the amount of $100,000. And this is for expenses related to the SNAP Ed program and local that we have with the UT Health Science Center in Houston.
So move.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
And item 23B3 is pursuant to Texas Local Government Code, Section 111.070, approval of emergency appropriation from the general fund balance in the amount of $1,500,000 for emergency-related salaries, fringes, and other anticipated operating expenses regarding the flooding, the recent flooding.
So move. Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Thank you, Judge Commissioners.
Thank you, sir. Item 24, purchasing.
Good morning, Martha Salazar, Purchasing Department, 24A1 for Hidalgo County, requesting rescission and deletion of the oral statement made by M. Salazar, reflected on the official Hidalgo County Commissioners Court minutes only on regular agenda item 62223 for the meeting of November 14, 2017, as in connection with the correct year, and thus leaving the actual caption year as 2019.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Item 2 is a recommendation by Purchasing Department to cancel the current request for bids. Advertising second ad was canceled due to this agenda item for Hidalgo County's project auctioneer, towing, storage, and related services, as it is in the best interest for the county to do so.
Second.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
And item B is authority to advertise and approval of a request for proposal format packet with the review and approval as to legal form by Hidalgo County DA Civil Section prior to distribution of those packets for the project titled Auctioneer, Towing, Storage, and Related Services, in order to have the negotiation component for a final agreement for parts 1 and 2 or both of the project.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Item 3 is action on a request for business name change from vendor AL3, formerly known as Stark Telecom and now known as Artcom, as detailed in the supporting documentation attached herein.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Requesting approval under consideration and review to increase the current approved amount of transactions, which is 2 per day, to 4 for fuel transactions per day using the U.S. Bank National Association Voyager fuel cards during the qualifying disaster for Hidalgo County commencing July 17th through December of this year. And this is through the Executive Office.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
B1 is for the Executive Office. This is presentation of the responsible vendor submitting the lowest and best bid and awarding of the contract to MJA Construction, LLC, for the demolition services for existing Hidalgo County structure, former DPS office in Edinburgh, RFB 135, subject to compliance with any statutory requirements.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carried.
On item 2, this is ratification of an oral correction on regular agenda item 65327 for the meeting held July 3rd to include Hidalgo County Public Affairs Department for the purchase of items required for public good or purpose pursuant to Article 3, Section 52 of the Constitution of the State of Texas for the term through ending December 31st of 2018.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carried.
Item C1 is for Precinct 1A, requesting exemption from competitive bidding requirements under Texas Local Government Code, Section 262-024A4, a professional service.
So move.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carried.
B is presentation of the scoring grids for the purposes of ranking of firms graded and evaluated through the county's approved pool of professional engineering service providers for on-call engineering services for projects located within Precinct 1. This is going to be 2 different contracts. The first one would be Half and Associates at 97.3, Rio Delta at 96.6, and Civil Systems Engineering at 94.6. Does the court wish to rank them in the order of those scores?
So move.
Second.
Those in favor say aye. Aye. Aye, motion carried.
The second contract for the same thing would be Alpha Engineering Group at 97.3, International Consulting Engineering, which is ICE, at 96.0, and Isaguirre Engineering at 95.0. Does the court wish to rank them in the order of those scores?
So move.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carried.
Then C would be authority for the purchasing department to negotiate multiple professional services agreements for the purpose of on-call professional engineering services for projects located within the precinct number 1, and that would be Half and Associates and Alpha Engineering Group.
So move.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carried.
Item D is authority for purchasing department to negotiate the multiple professional services agreements for the 2 named above.
So move.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carried.
Item 2A is requesting exemption from competitive bidding requirements 262-024A4, a professional service for the following. I need the exemption, please.
So move.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carried.
B is presentation of the scoring grid, and this is for professional engineering services providers for Mile 6 West Road from Mile 11 North to State Highway 107, a TxDOT project for Precinct 1. This is LNG at 98.3, Cortran at 97.0, and REG Garcia and Associates at 95.6. Does the court wish to rank them in the order of those scores?
So move.
Second.
Those in favor say aye. Aye, motion carried.
Item C is authority for purchasing to negotiate a professional engineering services contract with LNG for Mile 6 West Road from Mile 11 North to State Highway 107, a TxDOT project.
So move.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carried.
D is, after the exemption is still in place, presentation of the scoring grids for the purposes of ranking. This is for the professional engineering service provided for FM 1015 Mile 12 North Road to State Highway 107, a TxDOT project. This would be LNG at 97.6, Gonzalez de la Garza Associates LLC at 96.0, Fulcrum Consulting Services at 94.6. Does the court wish to rank them in the order of those scores?
So move.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carried.
E is authority for the purchasing department to negotiate a professional engineering services contract with the number 1 firm of LNG, and this is for FM 1015 Mile 12 North Road to State 107, which is a TxDOT project.
So move.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carried.
Acceptance and approval of a consulting and other related services contract between awarded vendor ABC Consulting Group and Hidalgo County Precinct 1 through the county's membership and participation through Region 8 Educational Service Center Cooperative Purchasing Program, which is called TIPS. with authority to execute the agreement subject to legal counsel, that's through Mr. Crane, final legal review as to form, including compliance with any statutory requirements. That was the concern by the auditor, but it does state that it is subject to legal review.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item 4, exemption from competitive bidding requirements, 262, 024A1, 2, and 3, as a direct result of the flooding rains of June 20th, the declaration of emergency by county judge, governor, and U.S. government. I need that exemption.
So moved.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
B is ratification of the issuance of purchase order to Doggett Machinery, LLC, for the rental of 5 backhoes as a result of the emergency, and to eliminate any further damage to county-owned property and protect the health and safety of the residents of the county.
So moved.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
And C is requesting approval to contract with Doggett for the rental of 5 backhoes through the requisition purchase order protocol in the amount of $12,367.50, including to execute any required documents that are subject to legal review.
So moved.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item 5, for continuing with precinct 1, requesting acceptance and approval of supplemental 2 for L&G Consulting, contract number 103, resulting in the addition of field notes and parcel sketches with an estimated cost of $14,000 for the services under work authorization 2 for precinct 1 mile 6 project.
So moved.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
D1 is for precinct 2, acceptance and approval of final AIA A101 form of agreement and form A201 between Hidalgo County owner and Erickson Construction LLC for the construction management at risk for Las Milpas Youth Park facility located in precinct 2, including the project manager B2C Engineering to issue the formal notice to proceed.
So moved.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
And B is pursuant to Texas Local Government Code, in the interest of expediting a project's progress, requesting authority to approval for Precinct 2 Commissioner or designee Armando Garza Jr. to execute change orders, and as further dictated on the agenda.
So, second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
2 is presentation of responsible vendor, Southern Star Transport Ltd., submitting the lowest and best bid for the purpose of award and approval of the contract for the bid titled Hauling Services for All Road Materials.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye. Aye, motion carries.
E for precinct 1, for precinct 4 rather. E1 is requesting approval of work authorization 1 in the amount of $46,238.98 under the on-call professional services agreement number 282 with L&G to provide geotechnical services for the project-specific Sunflower Park detention facility and walking trail.
So moved.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
2A is acceptance and approval professional services agreement with L&G Consulting for DBA L&G Engineering for project-specific Cesar Chavez realignment limits State Highway 107, 1,000 feet.
So moved.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Pursuant to Article 14 of the Professional Engineering Services Agreement, number 129 with L&G Engineers, DBA L&G Consulting Engineers, DBA L&G Engineering is requesting approval to engage the services of subcontractors Leonel Garza and Associates, LLC, and HLH Appraisal Services for ROW appraisal.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye. Aye, motion carries.
Acceptance and approval of work authorization 1 with an estimated cost of $49,600, L&G Consulting Engineers Incorporated, DBA L&G Engineers for project-specific Cesar Chavez realignment limits State Highway 107, 1,000 feet.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye. Aye, motion carries.
F1 is for constables. Constable Precinct 3 is requesting approval to purchase 2 2018 F-150 crew cabs vehicles through the county's membership and participation with the Goodbye Cooperative contract that is with Silsby Ford in the amount of $70,010, which includes delivery and one-time administration fee of $300, including compliance with any statutory requirements.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carried.
Item G1 is requesting authority to exercise the final 1 year extension for registered pharmacist services for the Health and Human Services Department under the same rates, terms, and conditions with David Castro, registered pharmacist, MBA consultant pharmacist, subject to SAM.gov compliance.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carried.
Under H1, this is for WIC, consideration and approval of the letter of intent supporting the indicated health-related initiatives between Texas A&M Health Science Center, School of Public Health, and Hidalgo County, with authorization for the Hidalgo County WIC Program Director, Ms. Clarissa Ramirez, to sign the document to demonstrate mutual desire for the collaboration between both entities as for the description of the work that I described.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carried.
For Budget and Management, under I-1, this is A, requesting authority to advertise and approval of draft procurement packet for Hidalgo County's request for proposals for a project titled Compensation Loss and Funding Projections Actuarial Study, including the re-advertisement of the project if and when necessary.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carried.
This is action to select or designate and assign the evaluation committee. Historically, I will give you the names. It has been Mr. Ray Salazar, Flora Vasquez, and Angelica Tapia. Is that the desire of the court?
For what, sir?
This is for the actuarial study RFP for the review of any responses received.
Can I have Mando Garzon there?
Okay.
Sounds like you should.
I was going to say, the actuarial study, is that for claims or?
Yes, for projections on
For what?
on our liability.
Health insurance?
Health insurance, and also like
Auto claims?
the retirement fund, that kind of thing.
Well, I'm kind of in agreement with Commissioner Cantu. I'm not sure if I can participate in this.
Certainly.
Even though I think it's just an evaluation, so I'm not worried about that. I'd like Mayor Suarez on that as well.
Okay.
Hold on, Judge. You said he was walking out.
Commissioner, anybody that you?
This one's not for any type of property or any type of like that. It's for workers' compensation. It's basically
It's
just
just
a
workers'
projection
modifier. Yes. They give us the modifier for each of the job categories, and then that's how we base the rate.
I don't need
Right,
Mando on the
we need
committee. I'll just send them to them. I
Up
don't
to
need him on
observe.
the- Right.
Okay. Same. Okay. Commissioner Palacios, anyone?
Pepe Caso.
What is this on?
This is on the actuarial study for workers' compensation to set the modifier. And I was telling them that
Well, the
historically
state
it's
does
been.
not, we don't set the modifier.
No, but it gives you the projections on what you should have as your projected.
We make adjustments based on the state, based on our claim experience.
Yes.
So then we make those adjustments
Yeah,
based
because
on the
it
actuarial
depends on the
results.
injuries and the downtime
Correct.
and
Correct.
lost time and stuff.
So they take a look at our claims analysis
Yeah.
for workers' comp, and then they sort of give us that premium analysis.
All right, if Mona's not going to be here, then Sarah.
Okay. Ona or Sarah? To observe or to actually grade?
No, just to observe.
All right. Okay. And we still leave Mr. Salazar, Ms. Vasquez, and Ms. Tapia?
I'm
That
fine
okay?
with that.
All right.
And Judge, I'm sorry, Judge Commissioners, just for the record, as always, I'm not an evaluator, but I do participate in that process.
Yeah.
Great.
Okay.
Move for approval.
Second.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carried.
J1 for the Sheriff's Office pursuant to Texas Government Code 791, acceptance and approval of a memorandum of understanding between Hidalgo County and Starr County for the housing of Hidalgo County inmates on an as-needed basis.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carried.
And item 2 is presentation of the sealed quotes received for the purposes of award and approval of a contract to the responsible vendor submitting the lowest and best quote and this is in no event to exceed $50,000 for the office, it's for the Sheriff's Office repairs, installation, removal of communication radio tower and miscellaneous equipment, and that's with South Texas Communications.
Some of.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carried.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Marty. Item 25, open forum. Did anybody sign up?
Yes, sir, we do have one participant. I'll remind the audience to please respect the speaker's time at the podium. There is a 3-minute time limit, and I will advise when there is 1 minute. Our presenter is Ms. Fern Clary.
I just want to say that growing up, I've always considered public servants a noble profession. But after years of attending school, city, and county meetings, I do not understand how the public servants justify the actions that they take. You know and understand the conditions of poverty that exist in the community, and yet you vote to build a courthouse that is not needed and that nobody wants. You vote to take money from people you know are living in poverty and then justify by saying that you are creating jobs. The jobs you are creating will last 3 to 5 years, and the debt will last for 30 years. This County Commissioners Court is responsible for keeping the chairman of the Appraisal District Board of Directors in that position for over 27 years and other members for more than 10 years. Why? No one else in the county and the public could possibly do that job? According to the financial plan that this commission approved this year, $149 million of bond will be sold, and our debt will increase to pay for a courthouse that we do not need and that nobody wants. I also believe that when Doctors Hospital and the rest of the for-profit hospitals find a way of increasing taxes to pay for indigent care, each of you will vote for that too. Remember, if a health care taxing district is created, the county is no longer responsible for the indigent. They will all go to the for-profit hospitals. That will really increase the number of families that lose their homes. And most will not receive any health care from this particular district. Then there are the economic development plans and abatement programs that are allowed to the rich to avoid paying property tax. So if 40% of the population can't pay because they're too poor, and the rich are getting tax abatements, who is left to pay the taxes? As usual, us. Thank you.
Thank you. Judge, we do have executive session.
All right, pursuant to 551, 071, and 072, need a motion to proceed to executive session.
So moved.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. We'll be in executive session. Oh, we are back in open session. Mr. Guerra.
Thank you, Judge. Commissioners. Under open session 28A, real estate acquisition appropriation for sale, there's no action to be taken. Oh, and let me go back for the record. Item 27A, 27B, there'll be no action as well. 28B, pending or potential litigation, no action. 28C, Hidalgo County versus U.S. Department of Commerce, Bureau of the Census, there's no action to be taken today. 28D, claim of Josué and Moron. Judge Commissioners, I'd like some authority to make an offer in the amount of $1,162.95.
So moved.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carried.
28E, deliberation regarding the following economic development negotiations pursuant to Chapter 551, Texas Government Code, Section 551.087, Project M-18 will proceed as directed. 28F, deliberation regarding the following economic development negotiations pursuant to Chapter 551, Texas Government Code, Section 551.087, Project T-18 will proceed as directed. Item 29, closed session. There's no need to go back into closed session, and 30, no need for open session. We have adjournment, and for the record, our next Commissioners Court session will be July 31st.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carried. Thank you.